photo of my mother when she was a teenager in Havana, Cuba. I said to my husband, as I looked at a preview for a movie that I'd never seen and knew nothing about Jews who had traveled from Antwerp, Belgium to Havana, Cuba during World War II. My mother had made that trip. Despite the horrors of World War II, my mother always said that it was the best thing that had happened to her because it allowed her to leave her provincial town of Antwerp and travel the world. My mother's family left Antwerp and traveled to the south of France, where they stayed until it was no longer safe. And then they left and went through Spain and took a boat to Cuba, where they had hoped to stay for 4 months and stayed for 4 years. It was not until after the war was over that they were able to get a visa to get into the US. It was 1945, and my mother was 18. My mother's family tried to protect her as they made that trip, but they weren't fully able to do that. When they left Antwerp, they left on foot, and so my mother was only able to bring with her what she could carry in a small suitcase, a valise, she called it. She traveled with her older sister, her mother, her father, and her elderly grandfather, who insisted on wearing his heavy winter coat despite the warm spring day. As they walked towards an area in France that had been safe during World War I, but would not prove to be safe during World War II. They walked along a line of refugees, everybody carrying their suitcase. But as they walked, the line was attacked from above by German airfare. And as the machine gun fire rained down on them, my mother rolled into a ditch. As she lay there, she said to herself, I hope I'm going to be okay, and I hope my family will be okay. My mother was okay, and her family was okay. But many, many people on that road died, including a young boy she had been walking beside. Despite these experiences, my mother loved adventure. When she was 81, she took me to a high ropes course. She climbed that 30 feet in the air, and she walked on the rope bridge, and she reveled when she hooked herself into the harness and went zipping through the trees. She was blissful, and there's a photo of her so happy on that zip line, and that's the photo that we used for her obituary. Mother's Day 2011, my mother said to me, Julie, I want to go hiking with you on Mother's Day. And I said, that sounds like a great idea. Let's go hiking on Mother's Day if you'll come contra dancing with me the night before. It's a deal, she said. So Mother's Day, off we went into the woods. It was a beautiful sunny day with the sun dappled through the trees and the leaves crunching beneath our feet, and we walked and talked. Mom, I said, I want to go back to Antwerp. I want you to show me where you lived. I want you to show me that walk between home and school that you talk so much about. I'd love that, my mother said. Let's do it in the fall. About half an hour later, we climbed a steep part of the trail. And as we climbed, my mother slipped. As we climbed, my mother fell. I'm a nurse practitioner, and I knew that when she fell those 30 feet, she was not going to be okay. And I knew that she would not want to live in a body that was not fully functional. And so I sat with my mother. I did not do CPR, and I held her hand as she died. My mother gave me the joy of being outside and the joy of adventure. And on that horrible, beautiful day, I knew that it was the perfect way for her to die. Thank you.